Yes, hello. Thank you so much, Ron. I appreciate the introduction, and I'm really excited to be able to spend a couple minutes with you today. So my name is Julia Asoni. I'm the Senior Director of Youth Engagement at the Manufacturing Institute. So the work that I do is a number of youth engagement initiatives on behalf of both the Manufacturing Institute and the National Association of Manufacturers. And Manufacturing Day is the biggest youth initiative that I'm focused on. So as Ron and Ari alluded to, of course, Manufacturing Day is going to be a bit different this year, but we've just been so excited by how many manufacturers are committed to making it successful. It really is a truly powerful initiative that has a huge impact. For those of you who might feel a little bit lost or behind in your planning this year, I want to reassure you that you're in very good company. I'm actually hosting a webinar later on today that has about 300 registrants, and I did a little bit of a survey before they registered for that webinar. And just so you know, 71% of the attendees are previous Manufacturing Day hosts, and 50% of them are still figuring out what they're doing. So given options of things like they know that they're hosting an in-person event, or they know that they're hosting a virtual event, or they know that they're doing, this number of different ways of engaging youth and public stakeholders this year, 50% of them said they're just still figuring it out. So it's normal. Even people who have been doing this for years their planning is a little bit now towards the last few weeks. And the great message is that not only are there a lot of people trying to figure this out at the same time, but there's still a lot of ways that you can engage with Manufacturing Day this year and still make it very impactful. So to back up a little bit, I'll just provide a little bit of context on why this is really so important. So the Manufacturing Day is really built to solve the workforce development or be part of a solution of the workforce development crisis in the manufacturing industry. I want to acknowledge we do have a very different workforce crisis right now in our country, but that doesn't affect the need for us to fill jobs in the coming 5 and 10 years. There's a really big gap in the number of jobs that are going to be open in the manufacturing industry in the coming decade, and the number of people that are interested in filling those jobs. And if they don't fill those jobs, that comes at a really expensive price tag. There's about $450 billion in economic output that's at risk. So the solution is really to inspire that next generation of manufacturers to educate youth, parents, teachers, the general public stakeholders on the important role that manufacturers have in our lives and the incredible career pathways that manufacturing can offer. So why is there such a big gap there? One of the reasons is it really is just that lack of awareness. So building awareness is so important of those career pathways that are available. And as we all know, there's that really big misperception. We know dark, dirty, dangerous, and then it's not really like that. Although you can, be in and there's just a variety of different environments that you can be in manufacturing. So we just want to make that very, shift that perception. And that's something that we're all working on. Manufacturers, the NAM, the Manufacturing Institute, and CCAT have been really proactively addressing this issue with our workforce development efforts that we have. So what are we really going to do to change this? Well, the greatest influence on changing perception, specifically really youth perception, so in that kind of K-12 space, is personal experience. So some of you might think, well, kids have so many different influencers. What if we just go after them, like the parents and teachers? And you're right, that those are big influencers. But it's actually the case, research shows that engaging them personally in manufacturing, in anything, is the best way to change their perception. So that's exactly what Manufacturing Day does, and it has a really big impact. Next slide. Manufacturing Day has been going on for almost a decade. It's focused on exciting America's youth, but by providing them with access, inviting them into our plants and facilities to have an inside view of manufacturing. Whether that's virtually this year or if you are able to do it in person. So by hosting these students, parents, and teachers, community leaders, Manufacturing Day is shifting perceptions about manufacturing. So really want to reiterate just how important it is and how much of an impact it really has. So last year, there were 325,000 people that participated in over 3,000 registered Manufacturing Day events. And there's 200 million social media impressions for Manufacturing Day. So thank you for mentioning social media. I don't know if that was you, Ari, or Ron that said that, but that's such a huge part of this when we're talking about shifting perceptions of youth. So the last thing I'll hit on for the next slide is just, this year, Creators Wanted it's the core messaging theme for youth engagement work at the Manufacturing Institute and at the National Association of Manufacturers. And so it's kind of the umbrella for all the different youth engagement initiatives that we're focused on. Manufacturing Day is still Manufacturing Day. That isn't really changing. I mean, there's ways that I'm working to change it to make it even better. But just to explain, I know there's been a shift from the website being mfgday.com. It's now creatorswanted.org, and you can /MFG Day to find this specific youth initiative. You can also go there to register your events, to find updated resources, to help host your Manufacturing Day events. And that's also where students and emerging workers and parents can learn more about careers in the industry and where they can attend MFG Day events in their area. CCAP may have separate registration, and we encourage you to also register there. Registering on the national the national website this year is particularly important for these virtual events. You actually have, on a very positive note, in how Manufacturing Day has changed this year, you have the ability to impact kids across the country, not just in Connecticut. And while kids tend to be very egocentric, so they really do care about what's happening right around them, we also know that people move for their work. So that is really helpful messaging, especially for 10th, 11th, 12th graders to have. So, so it's a great opportunity to have it even more impact by doing a virtual event this year. So, I want to thank you so much for being part of the national movement and registering your events. I'll also share there's some really friendly competition between certain states. I've been included on several email chain banter between state associations competing for what they believe is sort of who's the most impactful person or state on Manufacturing Day. I'll transparently share that a lot of that feels like it's coming from the Midwest. I'm from upstate New York, and so I would love it if Connecticut could really step up and to have an even more impactful Manufacturing Day this year. Last year, there were 43 registered Manufacturing Day events in Connecticut, and I'd love to see Connecticut get over 50 events this year, and I'd love to be able to boast on behalf of Connecticut for the great work that you guys are doing. So thank you so much. I think my contact information will be available, but I'm always happy to help if there's a way that I can help Connecticut or any of the manufacturers have a more impactful Manufacturing Day.
Well, Julia, thank you so much for your comments in that presentation. I can tell you the end of it, throwing down that challenge, nothing better than that. So I can assure you that we are now going to think even more broadly and creatively on this. So it's been.
I just want to say I'm a very competitive person, and I am a little bit. I'm also very proud to be from the Northeast, and a little bit disappointed that I just think there's a great opportunity for the Northeast to really lead the charge even more this year. So thank you.